By the way, one of the oldest one we have, it is called Piglet Market Square. Because you remember maybe what we saw by ship, this huge building above your head used to be the slaughterhouse and the butchery. So you had meat markets around this district, and here we had especially piglet markets. If you want to learn French language, it's a little bit difficult. Place du marché au cochon de lait. Cochon de lait, milk pig. Pigs still soaking the milk of the mother. And on this square, you have a beautiful house, as you can see, quite high. Have a look at the roof, very steepy, with little windows. It used to be built like that to storage grain. And do you see on the front side, on the gable, you had the two doors with a system we were used to have to bring the grain upstairs, to let it dry. And the windows were open to have an aeration system to avoid having gas of fermentation. And when the grain was dried, then it was sold to other places. We could export the grains. And do you see the two big balconies you have here, balconies with the storks, by the way, it's nice. These are no balconies to have a look at the street, but kind of corridors. Because inside of such houses, you had a following of different rooms, the one after the other, and no corridors inside. So if you had money, you could build such balconies outside to have the possibility to reach the different rooms from outside. It was a sign of richness to have such balconies. Voilà. So we will slowly go up, but I would like to keep you all together. So sorry to make you wait. Two more people are missing. So you see here you have enough places to see, to enjoy a meal, to have a drink. Do the difference between restaurants and coffee shops. A restaurant, you can just take a lunch, you see if the tables are ready, like here, you have to eat. Otherwise, you sit on a coffee shop and then you can get something fresh to drink, a bottle of water or something else, a soda. You know that in France, it takes time to eat. I mean, French people, when they sit at the table, they never want to be in a hurry. They take time. No, because you don't know, you would not know which. Well, we have been German, so do we have to bury Germans or French? So, you know, it's difficult, both. No. So come here as close as possible. Don't stay in the street. So people needed 250 years for the construction of the church. You can imagine how many generations worked here. From 1180 to 1439. We built the church from the back to the front, from the east to the west, like always. We always start to build a church with the choir, where you have the altar. And this part of the church should be oriented to the east, to Jerusalem, to the sunrise. And then we built what you see with the green roof. This is the transversal part of the cross of Jesus, what we call the transept. Then we build the big part of the cross of Jesus, and at the end you have the facade oriented to the west, to the sunset. I would like to go inside with you. It's not mandatory. First of all, I would like to show you what will be the meeting point. So come with me a little bit more closer from what will be the meeting point. Come here. Do I have your 2 ears? You see the door made out of wood with the clock. Be careful, this is a French broken clock. I meet you in front of the door at 11:40. 11:40, okay? All right, good. All right, come here. Even inside of the church, I will ask you to be careful with your pockets and your bags. Okay. Sorry, but well. You see the facade is beautiful. How many sculptures you have here. In the late 1800s, we took the decision to copy the sculptures and to keep the original in a museum. So what you have in front of you are already copies, but old copies from the late 1800s. We still have the original inside of the museum. It was a nice politic. It was made between the two world wars, and the people didn't know that we would have two world wars, but it was a nice decision. Of course, these sculptures here, they explain to you the history of the Bible. I remind you that the people could not read and had no books. So we decided to use the walls as well as the windows to explain to the people the Bible. You will see the windows are fantastic inside. So come here, come here. I'm here in front of you. Can you hear me inside also? It works? Good. So we wait, everybody. Maybe some of you can already sit here. I don't have seat for all of you, but maybe if you need, you can wait here and sit here if you want. Third.
Yes, but you asked me again.
Okay. Can you wait 15 minutes? It's okay, and then I bring you back to the table. Okay, can you come, all of you here? You have some seats still available. If you need, maybe let a chair for man here. Okay. Sorry. You want to sit here, monsieur? Do you want to take a chair? Yes. Okay, right. Okay. So first of all, have a look at the architecture. What you have above your head is typical Gothic, meaning pointed arches, crossed like diagonal line. This is not a system of decoration, but of stability. If you build like that, the forces you have in the vault are going thanks to each arch to every pillar. You see, you have like lines gathering on the pillars, and the pillars are themselves balanced with other pointed arches outside, what we call flying buttresses. With such a system, you almost don't need the walls anymore for the stability, so you can open the walls with windows. 70% of the walls are open with windows, and 90% of these windows are original. You know the history of Strasbourg, you know how many wars we had, it's fantastic. But let me explain to you what happened in the World War II with the windows. Maybe you know about it. All the windows were very fast taken off by local people. Don't ask me how they did it, I don't know. Unbelievable. They went very fast. This is the first thing they did when the war started. They put everything in big wooden crates with the archives of the city. And at the beginning of the war, the French government decided to evacuate the province and said to the people, I give you 2 days to decide. People didn't know exactly what was happening, but they had 2 days to decide. Either you stay here and there is a risk that Hitler come, or you move away. But you have to abandon everything what you have in your life in 2 days. 50,000 people decided to move away. 50,000. They abandoned everything, but they took the stained glass windows with them, big wooden crates. They went by train to the south of France, nearby Bordeaux. And the windows were hidden in a castle 2 years long. 2 years later, these people who had nothing, they were living by families they didn't know. They had no jobs anymore. They heard a message through the radio. The French government told them, come back. We promise you that the life will be like before. Your houses are empty, your jobs are available, come back. These people didn't know what was happening here and that in between Hitler was here. They believed in it, they all came back by train with the stained glass windows. But once at the station of Strasbourg, they were welcomed by the Nazis. You can imagine what it means. Called by the French government, welcomed by the Nazis. The Nazis wanted to have manpower and asked the French government to call the people, and the French government did it. It was awful for the people. What about the windows? They were immediately stolen by Hitler. They were brought to Munich. They were declared as national German masterpieces. And at the end of the war, when Hitler saw that the situation changed for him, he decided to hide our windows in Germany, not far from Heidelberg. Some of you have been to Heidelberg, maybe. Heilbronn, you had salt mine, big caves in the underground. They were put there until the end of 44. And then you know the history. 2 American soldiers that you call monuments men discovered a cellar in which you had 130,000 masterpieces stolen by Hitler. And among them, we had our stained glass windows with the archives of the city, so they knew it was belonging to Strasbourg. They told it to us, and after the war, we could have our windows back. It's unbelievable how lucky we have been. So enjoy the windows. And you are just here sitting in front of the oldest windows of the church. You have here windows from 1100. It is very unusual to have so old windows with that size as so big. 1100. They were not built for the today cathedral, but for the one we had before. We kept them, and when this today cathedral was built, we decided to adapt these windows to the new shape of pointed arches windows. And then we needed to have new one. So the next one, right side, are younger. 1100 in front of you, 1200 right side. I say younger, it's okay, 1200. Do you see that the fashion was different in 1200 than in 1100? Clothes are not exactly the same. The colors also not exactly the same. Who are these people? No people from the Bible. Kings and emperors of the German Empire. No French kings, just the German one. Because when the church was built, we used to be German. That's the reason why. And we think that's the reason why Hitler wanted to have the windows, because he was always very interested in the German history. Voilà. If you have a look on the other side now, it has nothing to do. You have another style. Our children could say that this is a comic strip. This is a book, what you have here. I remind you that the people could not read, and the printing machine of Gutenberg was not invented yet. So no books. So we use the surface of the windows to explain to the people the Bible. It's very easy. You start with the window on the left, and you go on one window after the other until the right side, like page after page in a book. But there is a big difference with a book. You read a book line after line, you start to the top and you go on to the bottom. A window should be read from the bottom to the top, one line after the other, but you start to the bottom. And you can still read it like before, even if the windows are original from 1300. It's unbelievable, and you can still read it like before. Unbelievable. Voilà. Some of them probably went to help Hitler also. We had both. It's hard to know exactly. But 50,000 people moving in 2 days, I can tell you that it was a big movement of population without knowing exactly where to go and how long it will be. And well, this is a very hard page of the history for us. 20% of the city was damaged 2 months before the liberation of Strasbourg by the American army. But they apologized. They did a mistake and stopped bombing quite fast.
I'm right here.